Debbie. Okay, we're going to start in just a second, but just a reminder, technically, if you do not want your video on, because we will reuse this footage for like YouTube and podcast channels. So if you don't want your video on, either shut your video off or shut your video off. That's all I got. Because pretty soon, in a minute, everyone whose videos are off will move into the other section. So just if you guys could do that, then your names won't be seen either. So if you give me a second, I will take care of that. Hide on video presence. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thanks, guys. That was the only admin stuff I have. So welcome, everybody. It is March 30th. I know some of you are having difficulty getting on. Sent you a bunch of emails. So hopefully everyone's here who was challenged getting on. But welcome, everybody. It's March 30th. This is the 4th webinar of our 6-part series. And I'm Dr. Debbie, so welcome. And sorry, just one sec, guys. Deb, you have a question? You raised your hand. Where are you, Deborah? Did you have a question? I can't find where you are. But did you have a question, Deb? Do you want to type it in if you have a question or if that was an accident? Christine, do you want to start us off as I wait for that to come in?
Yeah. I wasn't sure if she was saying hi or just.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Or we have a huge technical issue happening on our hand. Welcome, everybody. Webinar number 4. Yay! I'm so excited. I'm so excited to lead today. So thank you so much for the opportunity, Debbie. Yeah, it was a bit of a crazy morning for me. There was power outages and all the things. So if you're wondering, I'm not ruthlessly promoting my studio. I am actually just forced to be in my studio because my power was out of my house. So Debbie went over a lot of the technical stuff already. So just in terms of if you just making sure your mics are off, and again, if you don't want your video on, that's great. You can always just shut it off. So today I'm very excited to be talking about something that's very relevant for myself, which is behaviors, patterns, belief systems. Just a nice light topic. Sharon had an amazing sort of empowering conversation on Friday around the divine feminine, and we've talked obviously about energy, we've talked about momentum, we've talked about just some great sort of general concepts. And today I would love to dig in, but just being respectful of our hour, this is something that I know, well, at least I feel very strongly about. I haven't talked to Debbie and Sharon yet, but about really diving into belief systems in our 3-month program. Oh, they're so wild. It's so wild. What's coming up with a lot of my clients right now, actually, before I go into that, I'm just going to introduce all of us because I realize that some of you might be new. So sorry, I'm getting all fired up about this already. I'm Christine Bano. This is my studio, if you're wondering what this random sign is behind me. I'm an intuitive coach in Vancouver, so I have a practice here. I do online sessions and in person, just not right now. I own a business, so a boutique fitness studio, a TRX studio in North Vancouver, just over the Second Narrows, and I run wellness retreats. So retreats, body focused, mind and spirit. So kind of a nice all facets in those. And then I'm also a little mama. So I'm a mama to a 3-year-old daughter and a dog named Papa, who was not here today. So that's me in a nutshell. And I'm so passionate about the subjects and the topics that we've been talking about. And I've been really diving into this work with Vivi and a few other teachers for the last 7+ years. So it's kind of been my focus, my passion is the spirituality, self-development for the world. And I've just had so many amazing things come out of it that I'm just so inspired and so happy to be now having the opportunity to teach it. So that's me. I'll let Sharon and Debbie introduce themselves. Sharon, do you want to go first?
Sure. Now I'm on my phone today, so can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. This is so weird being on the phone. Anyway, I'm still trying to get in on the computer, but for some reason, this is the way today's going to be. So I'm an intuitive coach as well, and I do cranial psychotherapy, energy healing, Reiki. I feel like I've got like a whole list of things that I do, but basically my passion is really helping to empower people to live their best lives, to be their truest self. And I've been really interested in the spiritual side, and just the integration of the excuse me, the mind, body, and spirit. Sorry, and really just happy to be here today and happy to be doing this whole series. I think right now for me, it's helping ground me, so I'm hoping it's also helping ground other people. So thank you.
I'm Dr. Divi. Most of you know me, but when I just heard introduce yourself because I don't introduce myself very often. So I've been practicing as an intuitive coach for about 10 years now. I'm in Vancouver as well. I always say to people I got into this work by accident. I'm a family doctor by trade. I've been in family medicine for 25 years. And I don't practice in family medicine anymore. I do this exclusively. And one of the reasons I got into this, well, there's a zillion reasons, but there's only one way to be happy, and that's internally. And we have to get to know our thoughts and our emotions and our connection with all that we are. And for a long time, I resisted the spirit stuff because I grew up in a very relatively religious family. So I resisted it like the plague. But there's nothing religious about the work we do. It's all purely emotional, mental, and again, for lack of a different word, spiritual. And what I've discovered over the years I've been doing this work is that everything from our health issues, regardless of what the health issue is, to our well-being, to our relationships, all of it comes from within us. And the reason these challenges are in front of us is for us to heal something within ourselves that we may not even know. That may come from our DNA lineage, the way we think, the way we process. I was sharing with Christine yesterday that I had a Zoom call with my whole family, which means Zoom is well known. It's my whole family, even in India, are doing it. So I had a bunch of relatives from India, across Canada, across the States on, and it was super interesting just to see your lineage, where you come from, and seeing where your thought patterns are from. So a lot of the work we do, the three of us do, is about empowering ourselves and healing ourselves. And like Patty was sharing, if you guys were on before the call started, the work never ends, which is the best part of this work, and it never gets boring. So thank you guys all for being here live or recorded. Like it means everything to us. So thank you, Christine.
Fun. Yeah. So thank you so much. I'm so honored to be in this work with Sharon and Divi. And yeah. So what I was saying earlier is I just really wanted to dive in what I'm noticing in myself. Number one, I've come to learn that if I'm going through something myself, that generally there's other people going through it as well. So what's really relevant for me and what I'm noticing in my clients massively right now in my coaching practice is we're in a very interesting time. We're being squeezed massively right now. We are, like if you look at what's happening as a collective, I can't help but believe we're in a state right now where we have the opportunity to really massively shape our lives, to look at what's coming up for us. So does anybody here notice any behaviors maybe that are starting to rise? Oh, come on. I'm the only one? Yes, come on. So I put in gallery views so I can see lots of faces. So I'm just noticing right now what's happening with all of my clients is that, and within myself, is just that there's a lot of patterns arising. So there's a lot of thoughts, a lot of beliefs starting to come in right now. And it's just fascinating because I believe as a collective, we have the opportunity right now to start to look at these because we're having to slow down and to start to, if we can create awareness around them, is actually start to shift some of these. So I want to do lots of, I want to give you lots of time today to do some sort of self-exploration work, some stuff on writing, just identifying maybe some things that are coming up for you. But before we go into all of that, I'd love to do just a little grounding and meditation for everyone, just to, yeah, lots of repetitive thoughts. Yep. Lots of that kind of stuff coming up. I'd love to do a little grounding meditation just to bring everyone's energy together. So whoever's on the live call and also whoever is going to be watching later on. So just calling in that energy. So I'm going to play a little bit of music. You can give me a little feedback as to whether it's too quiet or too loud. So if it needs it louder, just let me know. So everyone just get really comfortable. So you can be seated, you can lay down, whatever feels like a comfortable position for you. I'm just going to turn a little bit of music on. How's that volume? Is it okay? So I just want to, the goal of this meditation is just to ground, to bring everyone's energy together. And it's just to allow you a few minutes to just come into your body. So I'm noticing with myself and with lots of my clients, again, that we're popping outside of ourselves. Distractions are coming up, thought patterns are coming in, some discomfort, some running perhaps. So find yourself in a really comfortable position. So again, laying down, taking it seated, hands wherever feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to do a little body scan. So just starting at the crown of your head, think about just softening for your scalp. So just think about the muscles of your scalp totally relaxing. The muscles of your forehead. Maybe through the temples, the back of the head. Your eyes just resting really softly. The nose, the muscles of the cheeks, the jaw. Just notice if there's anywhere that you're gripping, tensing. And if you are, just bringing a little bit more breath into those areas, just allowing some softness to envelope your body. Taking really nice, slow, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling. So whatever breath pattern works for your body. Maybe it's inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth, or maybe it's both in and out through the nose, but whatever you can get that nice, slow, deep breath coming in. Maybe you want to imagine nice golden white light entering your body as you're doing this little body scan. Just setting an intention of bringing in more softness, more stillness, more space. Imagining that softness coming down your throat, through the shoulders, into the muscles of your chest. If you've been noticing you've been holding a lot of tension, stress, anxiety, that might show up in the muscles of your chest, around your heart, around your back. Just imagine all those muscles relaxing, releasing, creating more space, more safety. And as that white light or golden light travels down past your chest, into your solar plexus, into the mid-back, think about creating a nice strong back, but a soft front. With every breath, lighting up your cells, bringing more light, more energy, more oxygen into your body. And then letting that softness come down through the stomach. So just imagine, again, your stomach fully relaxing right now. So if you notice that you're tensing, maybe a bit stiff or rigid through the belly, just notice if you can take your breath a little bit deeper now. So inhaling again, taking the breath down your throat, past your chest, into the belly, letting your belly pull forward, so just letting expansion happening. And then a nice, slow, effortless fall. And then letting that white light energy just gently come down through the muscles, through the hips. Just releasing any fear, maybe anxiety is manifested through your hips, any uneasiness. So just allowing softness, stillness, safety to envelope those areas. And then letting that white light travel down through your legs. So think through your thighs, to the back of your legs. Just letting the muscles and the bones hang really heavy, allowing yourself to feel supported. And then traveling down past the knees into your calves, your shins, all the way down to the ankles, through your feet, and all the way to your tippy toes. Just allowing yourself to feel soft, still, safe, and anchored. Maybe that light travels down past your feet into the ground. You're just connecting with the earth. Let's take a couple more slow, deep breaths together. So just anchoring down, and then maybe taking that light energy back up through the body, filling any spaces maybe that got left behind. And then taking that energy right back up where it started, above your head, past the sky, into the stars and the moon. Feeling connected up and down. Let's take 3 really deep breaths together. So as a collective, just gathering our energy, taking a nice big inhale. Maybe you want to place your hand on your heart and your hand on your belly, or maybe your hands are just softly by your side. So take a nice big inhale. Fill your belly up with that new, fresh, light energy, oxygen. Big exhale. Let it go. Let's do a couple more together. Nobody can hear you. Big inhale. Big exhale. Let it all go. Let's do one more. Big inhale. Big exhale. Good. When you're ready, just maybe wiggling your fingers and your toes. Ready to come back into the room. I feel like I could take a nap now. When you're ready, very, very gently just coming back into the room. Hopefully feeling a little bit more grounded. How's everybody doing? Sleepy? Ready to take a nap? Of course. I didn't want it to end. I could just keep doing the meditation for the next 40 minutes or whatever it is. Thanks, Cheryl. Yeah, welcome back, you guys. I definitely feel a bit more grounded. I've been doing a lot of that myself, especially as I've been noticing my own patterns rising and things being called to the surface to heal. Been doing a lot more grounding, a lot more journaling, a lot more things that allow me to just make sense of what's going on in my head, and just bringing some gentleness to that. So, yeah. Who here has a iPhone or a smartphone? Raise your hand. Who gets updates on your phone? You get the pings, you need to update it. And do you generally update them? You're like, meh, sometimes. Yeah? Why? Why? Because you want your phones and your computer to run, right? You want them to run well. You want them to be fast. Yeah, you want the latest and the greatest. You want them to be running smoothly. You want them to be running efficiently. So why is it that generally most people, so everything works, exactly. Only if they don't create more bugs than they so why don't we as humans update our belief systems? Generally. When I think of belief systems, I like to think about comfort, yeah. So I'm gonna try to watch the comments as much as I can, but we're not aware of what they are. Yeah. Yeah, totally. A lot of them are subconscious or unconscious beliefs. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this topic is because they have been absolutely running my show, running my life for so long that I didn't really realize why all the courses I was taking, why all the workshops, why all the one day, the retreats, I'd get little snippets out of things, but I didn't understand why I wasn't able to actually make the big changes that I so consciously wanted to make. Why the hell can I do that? Well, I didn't realize that I had belief systems, generally more limiting than empowering, running the show. So I like to think of, this is just my analogy, but I like to think of when we're babies, we come out and we have clear, we're computers, let's say, for example, we have a clear sort of slate, or maybe we don't, maybe we have some sort of cultural programming or things that we're sort of born with, or maybe from past lives that we bring forward. But generally, we're a fairly clean computer. We're a fairly clean slate. We don't have a huge hard drive full of crap. And then when we're young, we start to download apps, if you want to call them, ways of being. So we start to, I think of our core beliefs, or as things that are generally sort of, I think of my own, which I probably have, 3 or 4 that are kind of like the main ones running the show that I've downloaded. But generally do a lot of this downloading when we're very young. So, 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, whatever it is, of how the world works, of how relationships work, So if you notice as an adult that you manifest partners who aren't intimate, or you manifest people who treat you poorly, that's generally some sort of unconscious belief that is running the show, that is sabotaging what you really want. So I like to think of beliefs as thoughts that we think over and over and over again. And some of them are more surface, some of them aren't quite so detrimental. And those thoughts, if we think of them over and over again, our brain tends to think, okay, these are really important thoughts. She's thinking them over and over and over and over again. So I'm going to put some merit. I'm going to make sure that this was one, and I'm going to make it automatic. Like when we ride a bike or we drive a car, I can think about my Starbucks and what I'm going to talk about later. When I'm in my car, I can drive because it's just default, it's automated. And some of these automated beliefs serve us, and some of them don't. Some of them are very outdated. So where I'm going right now, and where I'm navigating, and what I'm doing with a lot of my clients is navigating some of the big ones that are actually, if you think of them as like your hard drive, we take those belief systems in when we're young, and we don't have a filter. So if we're at home and we're, you know, wanting to play cops and robbers with our parents, and, you know, or if Eva's coming to me and she wants to play and I've had a shitty day, or I'm not feeling so hot, and I snap show on her, then she's, you know, what I'm kind of saying to her is, what she might take it as is, I'm not important. Mom doesn't want to play with me. I need to be quiet. I'm going to act. I'm going to make sure I act a certain way around her. So she's kind of taking that at face value, rather than she doesn't have the perspective or the filters to say, okay, maybe mom's just had a poor, you know, crappy day. Maybe mom's tired. She's just kind of taking that. So why I'm bringing this up is maybe to have some compassion and be gentle around, you know, what are maybe some belief systems that might be running unconsciously. Like if you think of a hard drive in a computer, it kind of just runs without sort of thinking about it. So as we get older, if we don't start to look at some of these, we start to layer. I think of it as like downloading more apps. Internalizing under stress responses. Yeah, exactly. We start to take these as our own. So often, you know, authority figures might come in, or parents, or teachers. Like if a teacher, you know, says you're stupid or whatever, it might just be a fleeting thought for them, but, you know, we might not understand the impact that actually has. Like I think of where my belief systems came from, the unworthiness piece, or the, you know, I'm really kind of unlayering and realizing that the beliefs are, you know, what might just be a thought in my mind. I'm not kind of questioning, where does that thought come from? Okay, wait a minute, does that come from like a deeper belief? Okay, and then what's that belief? So, you know, the thought might be, oh man, I hope I can afford, you know, to keep my studio going, or whatever it is. And then the thought underneath that, like if I kind of just deconstruct that or pull that thread, it might be like, oh, okay, well, what do I actually believe? Like, is the world a safe place? You know, will money come in? Am I deserving of money? And then that might delayer to like, oh shit, when I was young, I didn't have a lot of money. I saw that money wasn't available. I saw that it causes stress. I saw that it, you know, there's lack. So it's kind of just like, it's been so fascinating to uncover where my thoughts are actually coming from. Where are these even thoughts? You know, if we think of things in our lives that maybe aren't so empowering, is there a belief system underneath that that's actually kind of running the show, that's just totally unconscious, that isn't actually serving me or you anymore? And I think right now as a collective, we're being called to start to unpack some of these beliefs so that we can live our highest, most authentic lives. I think that we're all being called, and I think that everyone on this call right now is a light worker. Everyone here is to raise it. And the fact that you're even on this call right now shows that you are invested in yourself. You're invested in, you know, empowering and having that ripple effect with the people around you. So you're here to raise the vibration of the planet. So in order to do that, we have to start looking at what skunk is stinking up our houses. What is that, right? So there's this book that I have that I just love the analogy, where it says, if you think of core belief systems, or ones that are kind of running the show, if you have a dead skunk under your house, it doesn't matter if you know, spray Febreze, or if you clean the house 1,000 times, or you know, get new chandeliers, or you light candles or incense, like, it doesn't fucking matter. I guess, pardon my French, I swear a lot. It doesn't matter, because you got a dead skunk. And until you can identify that you have that dead skunk underneath stinking up your damn house, you know, you can do whatever you want. So that's why I think of all the courses, and why people are sometimes so frustrated around why I can't make change, why I so desperately want to, you know, lose weight. I so desperately want to do X. I so desperately, you know, want to do Y. But if you have a really strong core belief underneath it all, that's just, you know, saying, nope, nope, it's going to be really hard to make change. Sorry, I'm just kind of reading the comments. I just got the hit to ask Sharon or Debbie if you have anything to add to this. I feel like I'm going on a bit of a tangent. So is there anything that either of you want to hop in and say?
Oh, wait, Sharon. Sorry, Sharon, you're muted. Sharon, you're muted. There
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I think the garbage men decided to come right at this moment, so I muted myself. Anyway, it's been an interesting morning. Yeah, and I love what you're talking about, Christine. For me, especially lately, I noticed that the old patterns are coming up. And the beautiful thing is that my partner now just says to me, "What age are you right now?" Because a lot of times what happens is I go right into my 5-year-old, right? I'm having that temper tantrum like a 5-year-old because something's happened that's triggered me back to that time. And I don't even realize it. I mean, this is the thing, when we get triggered into those behaviors from the beliefs that we created when we were 5 or 6, whatever, we don't even realize we're there. And so for me, it's really important to be able to consciously see what's going on with the people I'm interacting in, because those are cues that there's something going on with me. And so last night I was a bit nervous about this morning, but I didn't even know it. And so when I get anxious, I become the parent. And so Bob couldn't do anything right. And I was like, and I knew that it wasn't true. He drank a bottle of wine that I was saving. Big deal, right? Oh my gosh, you thought he had like done something so terrible. And so I was noticing as I was saying things about drinking that bottle of wine that it didn't feel right. Like I knew that it wasn't a big deal. So then I had to stop and really tune into my feelings and go, okay, why was that happening? And what belief was attached and what was the thought? So it's a really conscious thing, and it's like building a new muscle, right? Building a new muscle.
Love it. Do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, so I'm also going to answer that question that came in from that woman who's got a 10-year-old. I think Corinne said, and sorry if it's Karina, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Corinne, as a parent of a 10-year-old, I go through deep healing work myself. How do I keep my child, update my child beliefs too? Are there any resources for kids? So a couple things that I'm both for yourself, but also just for myself, and hope this helps Corinne and anyone else. My son is 15, so I can totally relate to that 10 to 15-year-old age group. The thing that we want to understand is, if you look at your parents and your grandparents and their beliefs and their shadows, they become the opposite of them have become yours, if that makes sense, okay? Your responses to theirs. Got it? So Eva, your daughter, Christine, hers are going to be a response to yours. My sons are a response to mine. Got it? And this is the crazy thing. The soul of that child comes in looking for that. Okay? So it's not that we can only do it for ourselves. We can never, ever, 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 ever do it for another. Okay? And like Sharon was saying, what we have to be willing to do is look at what the emotional response is. I was getting a hit when Sharon was talking. If anyone watches reality TV, and I don't watch that much TV, but the little bits I sometimes will watch a reality TV show. And if you're ever kind of watching somebody go from 0 to 100, you're like, what just happened? A belief got triggered. Does that kind of make sense? And it's actually kind of funny to watch on TV. So just imagine watching yourself, right? It's actually kind of funny, which is the beauty of coaching. I think Sharon and Christine can relate to this, because when we're coaching another, we're holding that place of unconditional love for them. And we're watching them repeat the same patterns. My coach would tell you one of my patterns is, I just work all the time, right? It's an interesting pattern. Got it? And you just see it. It's like, wow, is that interesting? Got it? And to observe ourselves from a place of non-judgment is the hardest thing. And then a big part of the 3-month course is going to be seeing yourself in that perspective. And to be completely straight with you guys, it's really, 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 really challenging to do it for ourselves, to do it from a book. Completely straight. I'm sure Sharon has tried it. Christina's tried it, right? We've tried to do it, but it's really hard. So it's being in that place of community where you're like, wow, I'm not the only one who thinks I'm a piece of crap. Got it. I'm not the only one who loses it on my husband. Got it. Does that make sense? Thank you, Sonia, for nodding your head. I'm like, yes. Christine?
Yeah, I just love I love what you're saying, and I love what you said, Sharon. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's one of the most powerful things that we can do for ourselves. And like Divya was saying, I can't see my own. I mean, I might have the odd, you know, I had one at a retreat one time, and one of the ladies asked, okay, write down, if you really knew me, you would know. And she, you know, she said something vulnerable, and what I wrote down on the paper absolutely shocked me. It made me so sad. I wrote down, if you really knew me, you'd know, I believe I'm unlovable and don't deserve good things in my life. Like it like blew my freaking mind. So I was like, that, like, consciously, I don't believe that. Unconscious, like in my subconscious, there is a really wounded little girl, you know, who it was not safe to be her. And she, you know, she picked up that belief at a very young age. And like, oh my gosh, I'm so, you know, like that sadness of like, oh, that's what's inside of there. So it's really interesting. The more work you do around this, the deeper you can dive. And this is why I'm so passionate. I'm going to talk to Sharon and Divya around it after, but I really would love to focus, you know, not a good chunk, but like some time on this in the course, because it's so powerful. If you think, if you can identify and start to have some, you know, some compassion and some kindness around where these beliefs come from, we can start to shift them. Because awareness, obviously, we can't really shift anything until we're aware of it. It comes out of the closet, it comes out of the darkness, right? And into the light, if we can transcend it. But if we're just kind of, you know, thinking this is the way life is, and we've kind of attached this, and some people don't, you always have to ask yourself, are you ready to change these beliefs? Because some people aren't. You know, if you look at, I know my mom's dad died of lung cancer when he was in his 50s, early 50s, and you know, he kept saying, oh, I can't change, I can't stop smoking, I can't stop smoking. And then he got lung cancer. And guess what? Within one day, he stopped smoking. Wow. You know, it's kind of like, and then he ended up dying, unfortunately, but it was just like, you know, it's just, our beliefs are so powerful. If we bought into those, and that's what's kind of running, if you think of like the computer, it's running the operating system, and if it's a disempowering belief, and generally most beliefs are, you know, meant to minimize pain, not empower us. So, you know, if you think of like your phone or like your apps, you kind of want to keep, like, if we were running off of, we were trying to use computers, dial-up computers. I mean, I was born in 1984, but like, if I'm trying to use a computer from 1984, it's going to be slow. It's going to be slow. It's going to be like, wah, wah, like it's not going to have the most exciting stuff. So it's kind of just like starting to dig up what is under, what kind of skunks are, you know, dead under the house, and starting to bring those to the light and start to make some new choices around the way that we want to show up. Yeah, so is there anything, Divya, in the comments I need to read?
Yes, I'm just gonna, I'm just reading Julia's comment. Do you mind if I just read it out loud? And I think it's connected to the belief before you take us into a process. Julia writes in, I had a lot of inner pushback listening to the recording of last class speech on the feminine. A part of me knows the feminine is so important, but I had so many experiences of feminine things and people being quote unquote cut from school or work or community as if they are less valuable and more disposable. I've been shamed so often when I'm so still, quiet, or sensitive that even with the big global wake-up calls, I feel ashamed and scared of not meeting the broken balance expectation. Broken balance cultural expectation. Wow, Julia, that was so beautiful. Wow. Yeah.
Even that awareness, though, even that awareness, the fact that you can even, oh, you're aware of that is beautiful. What I just know for me, like whatever I hide of myself, whatever I keep in the dark, it owns me. It freaking owns me. So even having that awareness and saying like, yes, this is a part of me who's so ashamed. I'm so, you know, I don't feel safe in the feminine. I don't feel this. That in itself is so powerful. And, you know, I would question where did that, you know, can you do some reflection around where that came from? I don't sense that's yours. I sense that that's just a byproduct of maybe some programming that was downloaded for you. That's kind of what I keep hearing right now. But it's just getting curious. Anything that triggers me, I get really curious about. It used to freak me out and I used to run from it. It triggered me, I snap, I run, I'm out, or I get really busy. So now anything that comes up that really triggers me, I tend to get really curious about. What is that? Where did that come from? And it also brings this like softness and this compassion, this gentleness to it. So you know, if I get really bent out of shape around it, generally that's, you know, a sign that I'm being pretty rigid. And I'm attached to that belief, and I want to keep believing that. And some people, you know, sometimes people do. They want to keep. They've built a life with that story. I'm not saying this is for you. I'm just saying in general. But you know, it's really easy because if you built a life based on certain beliefs and certain aspects, and this is the way that it is, then you know it's hard to say, wait, am I going to have a total identity shift? And then how are the people around me going to react? And you know, when we shake up our lives and we shake up our belief systems and we start showing up differently and making different choices, maybe more empowering choices. Don't be, you know, don't be shocked if shit hits the fan. For me, example, this morning, this is one of the first times I've been leading a group fully, and my power went off this morning. And then I couldn't connect to my laptop. And then I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to lead this call? And, you know, it's just, or on retreats, whenever I run retreats, whenever participants come, you wouldn't believe the stuff. Oh, my, you know, husband got in a car accident today. This happened. Da, da, da. Like, it's like thing after thing after thing. It's like our ego. And there's a part of us who really wants to keep us safe, who's really attached to what those beliefs are and wants to keep us very safe, and understanding that a lot of the time our beliefs are trying to keep us safe. It's frustrating, you know, it can be frustrating, but it's like they are really trying to keep us protected, keep us within a societal box, something that makes a lot of sense to us. If you think about it, when you come in, you're like a bundle of joy, and everything's expansive and available and emotional and all the things. And then, you know, this is the way life works. Maybe our parents, maybe our schools, maybe our churches, whatever it is. This is the way things are. And then that becomes like, okay, well, I'm going to take that at face value. I'm not going to question that because you're my authority. That's my truth. And then, you know, if that's not questioned, we don't have the perspective. We can't put on the glasses of, you know, well, maybe that's not true until we get older. Or until I get older and I'm sitting on the therapy couch. I'm like, what is happening right now? Why is my life, why do I want X and I'm getting Y and Z or whatever it is? So I'd love to do just a little bit of self-reflection if you're up for it. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen, I would love for us to, if you don't have anything, let's go grab one now. It's just do a little bit of, maybe it's not important to know where it's from, maybe where.
Can I read the comment before that?
Sure, please.
So Lauren wrote in a comment, and it's a great comment, Lauren. So Lauren, and this might help before your exercise. Do you have any advice for me or us when we know something is not working, a belief or a thought pattern that doesn't serve, but I have no idea where it came from or how it started? It's hard to get going or change if I don't know the origin. Do you want me to grab that? Do you want to grab that?
Yeah, sure.
So Lauren, in my experience, remember we did the mind versus the spirit voice, the first one? In my own personal experience, you know, knowing the origin is helpful because it gives us different perspective. It's like, oh, now I know why my mother believed that. Oh, now I know why my grandmother or whatever. And in my own experience, spirit will tell us that as we are more ready. Got it? But it's about us unfolding and, you know, unlayering. Like within my own culture, there's a deep-seated racism within India. It's like, don't even ask. It's completely crazy. If you're dark, you're bad. If you're white, it's completely insane. But why is that there? And it's only as I've been able to dig in deeper, spirit told me one day when I was in a breathwork class, I was like, oh, got it. Like, you know what I mean? So only when and so Lauren, what I would suggest is not trying to figure out with the conscious mind, because that'll just spin us into circles, right? Just know that when we're ready, it'll come and just kind of like leave it there. But it does help to know because it gives us such a different perspective, like, oh, got it. Does that make sense?
Also, just working with coaches, to be honest with you, this is not like a sales pitch, come work with me or anything, or share on a divvy. This is just more around like what's actually worked. Working with a coach, having that person, I can see other people's belief systems, no problem. And I don't, you know, it's not a rawness where it's like, I'm going to call you out. This is what I see. It's like a gentle unpacking and pulling the thread so that ideally you come to the awareness yourself. It's that, because there's nothing more empowering than that, you know, self-realization, like, oh my gosh, okay, that's why I'm doing this. And then again, that awareness comes. So there's a beauty around being able to work with somebody who can support you in a really nurturing, empowering way. And it can also see your highest potential, which is what a lot of intuitive coaching is that we can access your highest energy, the energy that is of your highest self. We can hold you in that while you do the work, while you do the unpacking. So,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, Sharon.
Yeah, no, I just got it to also add that sometimes just tuning into your inner child, right? Just tuning into that little girl and just asking her what's she feeling, what's going on, and just being gentle with that part of you can really help. It may not give you the answer of exactly why that belief came about or whatever, but it's going to help you sort of relate to whatever belief is coming up in a different way. And I'm sure we'll be doing a lot of that in our 3-month course as well, but it's a technique that takes more than just 15 minutes. So I'm not going to go into it, but if you know how to work with your inner child, or if you want to just tune in to your little 5-year-old girl and just hug her, that can help.
Or boy.
Or boy, yes. Sorry.
It's
a girl.
Yeah, no, totally. Okay, so I'd love to, if you have a piece of paper and a pen, I'd love to just do a little bit of self-reflection work right now. So the first question is, just some reflection on, is what are some patterns or behaviors that you notice are rising right now? So if you think about, either right now or that are frequent kind of the fan favorites that keep coming up. For me, it's busyness, but for you, it might show up in a different way. So patterns, behaviors, thoughts, maybe consistent thoughts that keep rising. And then if anyone's feeling brave and wants to share them in the comment box, I'd love to see some of them. Yeah, Lauren, I can see you going for it. Feeling pressured, yes. Feeling pressured, yes. Perform, it's time. You have time right now. Perform, 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 perform. Get more done. Procrastination. Some of these procrastination, which is funny since all of a sudden time is not an issue. Yes. Feeling guilty or for feeling bored. Yeah. Love it. Business, excessive control of house environment, money fears. I'm a generally healthy person, but notice myself having no control, self-control and overindulging on food, sweet, sugar, even when I'm full, and eating things I know make me feel bad, like gluten, excess sugar, dairy. I feel you, Alicia. Holy moly. There is not a bag of chips that stands a chance in my house right now. My number one PMS, Daniel's laughing. My number one PMS is mental rants towards my family memory, but newest one is eating my stress. Yes, backing away from people, jumping to conclusions. Amazing. Yeah, these are awesome. This is amazing self-awareness, inability to slow down and tune into myself. Yes, Mariko, I am with you, girl, on that one. Thankful I'm not the only one with chip addiction. See how great it is to be like, oh my God, I'm not messed. It's just fascinating to see what comes up because it all manifests in different chip girls unite. Okay, me too with the chips. Oh, I like it. Everyone's starting to get real. They're like, yeah, let's dig into this. That's what I mean. Like, it's just so nice to know. I think the biggest thing of this community is there's just some grace to it. There's just some like laughter of like, oh my gosh. And that's what I mean. Like, you can get playful. Like, oh, cool. My patterns. Like, I can see myself. So what I did the other day, I told Dippy this in text, was I was starting to feel that urge. I wanted to eat. I wanted to grab. I was full. I was sitting there reading a book, and I was just like distract. And so I just stopped and I put my book down. I'm like, I just heard like, stop filling yourself with information. Stop filling yourself with food. Stop filling yourself. What is the gap that is calling in the food? That is calling in the information that you feel like you don't know? Like, what is that? And I just got really quiet and I just quickly grabbed a journal because I just tuned in and I was like, I could see my inner girl going crazy. She was having a shit fit. And it was just so interesting to watch because she was just losing her mind and, going crazy. And I just asked, like, what is it? What do you want to say? And I just started writing. I took out my journal and I just started writing. Like free writing was zero, like nobody's gonna read it. I'm just gonna go for it. And it was dark. It was so freaking dark. I was like, oh my gosh, that is still inside me. Like, you know, no wonder sitting down and trying to do gratitude journals every morning is challenging for me. She's like, I got a girl inside who is pissed. So it's just like interesting to watch. And the minute I gave her a voice and I just let her rip, like, you're gross, you're this, you're da da da, like I just gave her, like, I let her just holding space and loving her and not saying like fighting her. Like I wasn't getting up punching gloves from a fighter. I just let her be and let her unravel. And it took a few minutes and I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. And I was like, do you have anything else to say? And she's just like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired of running. I'm so tired of stuffing myself. I'm so tired of this. And I was like, and I just visualized myself like holding her and was like, it's safe. And it's like the minute I gave a voice to that darkness, or the part of me who was, you know, running the belief system around unworthiness, or I'm not good enough, or I need to eat to feel safe, or whatever it was, you know, I need to avoid whatever feelings are starting to rise. She just like, I just could feel the space in my body just open up. Like it was like the minute I gave her a voice, I stopped hiding her and shoving her down further and further and further, which is why I was shoving the chips down. I was shoving the cookies down was because there was something I had to keep shoving down. And I used food. Some people use sex, some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, whatever it is, whatever your vice is, online shopping, like whatever it might be. I was pushing her down and pushing her away. And the minute I gave her a voice, there's just the softness and the stillness. I could feel more space. And with that space, I was able to bring in more lightness. So it was just interesting to kind of go through that process and just ask myself, and it might be helpful to say like, what is this? Just kind of pulling the thread a little bit. What is underneath this? What is my shadow trying to say? And kind of just not being afraid of it, but giving it a voice, and then just noticing and like loving it and being like, oh, okay, you got really, you know, bullied as a kid. You know, I got really bullied as a kid. So of course you're angry. Of course you're sad. Of course you're all these things. Okay. I can see you. I can understand you now, and I can love you, and I can, you know, own that part of myself. It's kind of like starting to unpack and unlayer all the pieces of me, yet, you know, just wanting to show the ones that are shiny and nice and good to the world. It's like starting to unpack the ones that maybe I'm a little bit more ashamed of. So anyways, that was another tangent, sorry. Any comments? The chips. Also blockage during the most important time to connect with my mom when we talk. I've gained 14 pounds since February 1st. Yes. Thank you for sharing this about your little one, Christine. Love this. Feeling the emptiness, then noticing the unraveled patterns. Yeah. So moving on from the next question, that was the first question. There's amazing awareness around that. What do you sense, if you were to kind of look at what some of your personal patterns are, what do you sense maybe are some things being called that are rising to the surface that are being asked to be healed? So if you were to kind of unpack maybe your thoughts a little bit, or go in a little bit, or maybe just use some examples that I gave, what do you sense is rising in you to be healed, or to be looked at, or to be given some light or some awareness? So if you get really still with yourself and just ask in, you know, a really honest way, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to show me? What do you want me to heal? And again, if anyone is feeling brave and wants to put them in the chat box, that's awesome. Self-worth, deservingness of love, prosperity, and success. Yes. Uncomfortable with uncertainty, feeling out of control over situations, that I'm good enough. Need to put myself first over everyone else around me. Need for validation. Yes. My self-sabotage. These are amazing. Conflict between self-empowerment and dependence on people who might hurt me emotionally. Oh, yeah. Learn self-compassion. I'm not worthy if I'm not productive. Oh, we're starting to unravel. This is happening fast in this session. I have a fear of being alone, and I'm literally forced to be alone because I live alone in a city where I have full lockdown. Yes. Elise, so this is what I mean. Like, you're talking about it. This is, like, if you look, most of our vices are being removed right now, right? we generally have choice. We have free will. We have, you know, if we're feeling something, we can go out to dinner and go get drunk, or we can go out and go get a bag of chips, or we can go out and do whatever we want to fill the void, or to push down the feelings that keep bubbling. And if we stay busy, for me, it was busyness. If I stay busy, I don't have to feel anything. But guess what? Everything is shutting down. So it's like, it's just a call, at least what I feel is being called, is for us to rise right now. So in order to rise, we have to be willing to look at what inside of us are we pushing down. What are we not willing to look at? So, Divya or Sharon, do you have anything that you want to add into my rant?
Yeah, so, no, excuse me. So somebody had actually private messaged me before to ask, in my example, when I was talking about Bob and how I became the parent and I was, you know, yelling at him and stuff, what was coming up for me. And for me in that moment, when I was sort of anxious, and so then it came out as being a parent with Bob, what the underlying belief was that I wasn't safe. And so I was trying to find control because I wasn't feeling safe. And so I just wanted to share that because somebody had private messaged and asked me, and I thought, and it was really, and then she asked what I did to get to the place of knowing what it was. And for me, it's always, I know that there's something else going on because my body feels it. So I will feel it somewhere in my body. And I've just learned over so many years to know that what's going on in my body is giving me the clue of what's going on in my mind, that there's a disconnect between my mind, body, and spirit.
So good. Well, there's a chemical, I believe, isn't it right, David? There's a chemical that's released in our body when we are having these thoughts. So if a thought comes in, it doesn't feel good, or maybe we react or are triggered and something happens, generally there's like a bit of a jolt. At least in my body, I get a bit of a jolt where I can tell something's not right.
Yeah, completely. We have like a hormone. It's a couple things. I'm going to say a couple things. So we all have pain body addiction. So we get addicted to this feeling that doesn't feel good. So think of the feeling of, say, abandonment. Let's just say we're working with a client who has abandonment issues. And you're used to feeling abandoned your whole life from childhood or whatever. So it sounds really weird, but there's a chemical that gets released with that emotion. So it could be abandonment, fear of not being powerful, fear of not being productive. I'm just using abandonment as an example. A hormone gets released in your body and unconsciously get addicted to that hormone. Got it? And you're actually going to go out looking for those. Sounds weird, doesn't it? To think of it, it's like, why would you go out looking for it? Well, because you get used to that chemical, to speak of what Christine's saying. But they're asking me to say something really important for you all to understand. And I loved what I think it was Elise said, we're being shut down. Those things that we did, like just go to the coffee shop, we can still go to the grocery store, but like go and do things, go to the mall, go to do this, go and hang out, go and talk to, a friend. All those things are being shut down. So we have to go within. But one thing I kept hearing for all of you guys, all or a lot. So a lot of you guys wrote in things like, I want to scroll up just so I can see them again. Self-sabotage, lack of self-compassion, need for validation, the I'm not good enough. See, the mind can only heal with the mind. When you bring in the energy of spirit or unconditionality, that's where you're no longer powerless. Can you feel that? When you know your truth of who you are in your divine element, then the thought that you're not worthy could never be there. Can you feel that? So you need to enter a space beyond the mind, which is what we call spirit. And that's a thing that as 3 intuitive coaches we do for a living. We hold that space for you to step into that. But you can't get to I am powerful from I'm not powerful just from your mind. It's actually impossible, just so you guys know. Because that chemical thing that's being released from not powerful is stronger. Does that kind of resonate to you guys? Does that kind of make sense? Just the nod if you're getting it. So I make sure I'm not losing you guys. And that's why entering into spirit is actually the most important thing. But we have to be willing to go, wow, look at my tattoo that says I'm not powerful. What Sharon and Christine were talking about, Sharon's stuff with Bob, like, wow, what is that? Christine, like, wow, why do I need to stay so busy? It's like, wow, look at what I'm creating. And so that's why we enter into the spirit realm of holding that space of going, holy cow, I can shift this. That's what I got to add, Christine.
Mic drop. I love it. So good. That's amazing. I'm just looking at time, and so what I would love to do is just, I do have one other thing that I wanted to read that downloaded. I downloaded about last week to finish us. But if anyone wants to write down, like I said, in the course, we'll be going a lot deeper into this because this is obviously a really big topic to kind of dive into for an hour. But a great way is kind of looking at your list and even just creating a few, like having a think about it, trying to identify some, and maybe just creating a few like new affirmations. So maybe some I am statements. Maybe if you notice, maybe something came up, triggered you around unworthiness or abandonment today, maybe there is a statement that you could reframe of, I am safe, I am worthy, I am loved, I am whatever it might be. So if that feels like it's not too far of a jump for you right now, obviously, there's a lot more unpacking with this in general, but it's more, the reason I wanted to bring it up today is just to start getting the kind of juices flowing around this a little bit, and just understanding that yes, this might be like, holy man, I'm gonna open up Pandora's box with this. On the other side of that is like, imagine the empowerment and the ease and the joy and the freedom that lies on the other side of that. So yeah.
Can I just grab Alicia's question?
Yeah.
So her question was, can spirit heal or cleanse something without us realizing it and release it from our subconscious given we begin to practice that connection to spirit? So Alicia, it's a great question. The answer, I was typing into you actually. The answer is, I'm like, this is going to take too long. The answer is yes and no. Okay. So by which I mean, if it's something that we consciously have to become aware of, then it can release temporarily, and then it can keep recurring. It's like, what the heck? Does that make sense to you? So it can release temporarily, but then if it's needed for us to shift that, say, thought or belief system, it'll keep recurring. And the more we become aware, the more it's like, it'll be like this. Like even when Christine was teaching earlier, I was like, oh God, holy cow, I didn't think of it that way. It was actually thanks to, I think Lauren had typed in something. I was like, oh, like, you see, you guys, I've been doing this for like a gazillion years. Got it? And it's still, so hope that helps, Lucia. Yes, exactly. You got it.
The lesson will come through. And this is a whole nother topic, but mirroring. People mirroring back to us. Oh my goodness. Whenever I have a problem, Divvy's like, so where are you not doing that yourself? And I'm like, oh, that one again. Oh, everyone's just a reflection of me. How do I forget this lesson? Anyways, we can go into another time. All the fun topics. But if you're okay with it, I'd love for us to just do a quick closing out just to honor your time. This take like 2 minutes. So it's something that came through. If you don't know this about me already, I channel messages from the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. I'm not religious, by any means, but I do believe that there's a greater power up there who is just always speaking, spirit, voice, whatever you want to call it. So this one downloaded, I was in a meditation, and they come flooding in for me. So I just wrote it down. It's just a little bit of like a statement that the universe wanted to say first, and then it was a prayer. So because I'm going through this, and I believe there are other people going through this, it's like a little bit of a prayer to help us release patterns. So if you don't mind getting comfortable, so we'll just close out with this little prayer, and then if there's any Q&A or any questions afterwards. So just find yourself again in that nice comfortable position. I'm going to turn some music on again. So close your eyes if you'd like, or invitation to close your eyes. If you want to keep them open, of course you can. And just find yourself in that comfortable position. And just notice if there's anywhere in your body maybe it's speaking to. So if you notice right now that maybe this conversation stirred up anything in your body, just taking some breath into your body. Just softening your body, softening your breath. Again, letting your shoulders drop, letting any tension release, relax. So I'm going to start reading what came through for me. And again, if it resonates for you, take it in. If it doesn't, you just let it go. We are grounding you into your body, allowing the nervous system to settle, to stop the running, to feel everything. because it's time. It's time to slow, steady, and unwind. It's time to get clear and confident on what is working and what isn't. It's time to trust the support you so often talk about. Allow it for yourself. Allow yourself to be cradled, calmed, and nurtured. Softness envelopes you now. Allow yourself to be nestled in the love the universe has for you. Allow yourself the gift of quiet. Allow yourself the gift of cleanliness, of clear thoughts, of long breath, of your shiny new vessel. A prayer to repeat during this time. I now call on God, all my guides, all my angels and support team. I ask you cleanse, clear, and release any old behaviors, patterns, thoughts, words, or any other way my old self manifests. I ask you to gently remove these from me now. To wipe clean the slate of the past, to insert my deep seed of knowing and remembering and the power that flows through me, effortlessly supporting me. Let that power be my internal compass, my voice, my energy. Let that heal myself and others. Let me stand tall with grace and conviction and speak my deepest truths with love. Let me stand up for what is mine and what I know is revolutionary. Let me evolve and inspire others to evolve and step into their power too. Let me stand in my freedom because I am. I am free. I am tall. I am connected. I am abundant. I am loved and love. I emanate truth, grace, and kindness. Together we will rise. I am in the rising. I allow anything not serving me to fall effortlessly to the ground and be swept up and taken away by my team. They are waiting, ready to help, and I finally remembered. Please, I am ready, dear ones. I am ready. I am ready. I am not afraid. I was born to do this. I will act, and I will trust God will act too. I feel you, I trust you, and I know you. And so it is. Take a few more deep breaths. And when you're ready, you can come back into the room. That was something that came through. Thanks. That was perfect closure. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, came through pretty intensely last week, and it was just such a beautiful, I don't use the word God often, and I'm not triggered by it anymore, but when I was younger, I was very triggered by the word, and it just came through, and it's just always, again, I know, I trust that's from spirit because it's so loving, like everything, all the messages that come through are so loving and so supportive and so nurturing, so. Yeah, I'm working on an insight timer. I'm on there with a few of my downloads, but they come in so often and I haven't shared them very often. They've just been sitting there in my iPhone notebook forever. So I'm just, a big lesson for me is just to start sharing this work and not being afraid of it. And yeah, just getting the loving messages out there more. So would you record that in its own recording and share it? Yes, I would love to. Yeah, I have a few that I've recorded that I just need to upload to Insight Timer. So I can always send these just in a voice note to Divian to send out, or when they're out. I'm on social media as Christine Bano. I haven't been on there a ton, but I'm just recently starting to get back on there, so I can always record it and put on there as well. So. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody. Is there any last, Divya or Sharon, do you have anything else that you want to say, or?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
That's great. Thank you. That was beautiful. We're back on Wednesday, right? At 5?
Yeah, we're back Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Fun.
Okay.
Super
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Be gentle. Be kind to yourself. Thank you for coming on today and for showing up for yourselves.
Okay, guys. We'll see you on Wednesday. Ciao.